Hello and welcome back. I know it doesn't look like it, but this is a Mr. Heater buddy heater that I have disassembled, and we're going to put it back together and get it working. The reason I took it apart is I found it in my pole barn. It had been sitting there for probably many years. You can see on the section here it says, Mr. Heater. So it's a Mr. Heater buddy heater. And once I took a look at it, I was cleaning it up, and the main thing that I found on it that I think is wrong with it is this wire here has been chewed up on by, I'm guessing, a mouse in the pole barn. Looked online on Mr. Heater's website, and I found a replacement one for, I think, $4. And so this is the part model that I got. You guys can see that. I'm going to replace that on this, but in order to get to this wire, I had to basically take the whole thing apart. And so it's been completely taken apart. I'm going to put the wire back on here and put it back together, and you guys can watch me put it back together in case you have this problem with your Mr. Heater buddy heater. The wire itself is easy to take off. It just kind of pokes on to the igniter here, and then the other end of it pokes on to there. So it's really simple to do, to take it apart. And I'm expecting the new one should be really simple to put back on, given what we just saw. And so this is the small end that goes on here. It pokes right on there. And then the other end will go on to my igniter. If I can poke this on here. Might have to work that out a little bit to make it go on that post. That'll be the first thing we got to do. This one is more rounded, if you look at it, and this one is more square, so I got to round it out. And this one's definitely longer than the other cord, so we'll have to figure that out when we put it back in there. So I went ahead and got some needle noses, and I was going to try and round this out, and you can see I ended up breaking it off instead. And so what I ended up doing was I took apart the old one, the old wire that had been eaten, and I pulled the end off of that, and then I went ahead and soldered that up to this. So I pulled it off. The new one, soldered a new piece on there, put some more shrink wrap on it. So now this one does fit the igniter switch here. Goes on right there and slides right onto it. So that's really the part that I needed to fix to get this to work. Now we're going to put it all back together. This igniter piece goes inside of this side case, and so it just pops in here, right here. So I'm going to feed that wire through there. And then the igniter goes right back in there. So that's hooked right back on there. And then there's this ground wire that goes to that. That goes on here. And then that ground wire will hook on to the back of this right here at this spot. This little ledge here has where the igniter will hook onto it. And then we've got the other end here, which goes on to this. And then we should be able to put this here and make a spark. I'm going to go ahead and hook the ground back up so we don't shock ourselves. So I've got the ground on there. Here's the igniter piece of it, and we should get a spark here. But you can see that. It's getting the spark, so that's good. Then all we got to do is feed the igniter to right here. Loosen this back up. It's a Phillips screwdriver. Put the igniter back in there. Where it needs to be. Let's try it one more time. Yep, now we're getting spark. So now that we got a spark going, where we need it to be next is going to be to put the front cover back onto this. And it's got little clips right here that this goes on. These clips right here go into there. That sets on just like that, and then you take the piece where the flame goes in. I'm not sure what you call that. That's where all the, I guess it'd be the front grill of it. And it's going to set into here like so. And then on the bottom of it, there's this one spot where the screw goes in to hold it, which is right there. And that's a 5/16 bolt. Doing this with my left hand instead of my right hand. So that's hand tight. And now you can see that that's all back in place. Then the back cover goes on the same way. It kind of loops on one side, attaches there, and then got little clips that it fits on the back. So both of those are on there now. Then these sides clip on into here. Let's see if I can put it in like this. Good on this side. So that clips into there, and then these clips kind of hold it in place. So that side is back on there. So it's starting to look like a heater again at this point. Then I've got three handles that go on each side of it here on the bottom. And then you've got one that goes into the top. And it's got little push buttons here on it to kind of hold it into place. So those have to go where this hole is on the back. So that one. Then on the back side of it here, on the other side of it, this pops back onto here. Make sure I get these lined up. It's all back together. Here's the top piece for the fuel. Goes here. And let's push the button back here and see if it lights. Still making sparks. So you guys can see that right there. So here's a propane bottle I've got. It's not completely empty yet. Oh, we gotta put the grate on it too here, which kind of clips into the bottom of it here. To the top part, click up there, it's all back together. Let's see if it works. I see a flame there. Hold it down for 30 seconds. Oh, didn't hold it down for long enough. Okay, that flame doesn't want to stay lit. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to see if we can clean out the spot here. The propane comes out and see if that will solve our problem of it not staying lit. First I'm going to take the propane back off of it. And then for this, just pull these out. And that comes right off of there. And then I went and got some Q-tips. Alright, so the other thing I had to do was get some Q-tips, and I had to clean out the port here where the propane comes out. And so now when I put on the pilot, turn it on, you can see that that flame is reaching all the way to this metal piece here, and that metal piece heats up the valve to keep the valve open, right? And that's what keeps it going. It wasn't getting enough flame out to it because it had some gunk in there, as you can see from my Q-tip. It was kind of gunked up, and so now that's on there. You can turn on low and high, and it appears to be working. So I'm going to put the grate back on it. I want to thank all you guys for watching. Be sure to like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Lots of other cool stuff out there about heaters and just general living life in Minnesota. Thanks for watching, everybody.